Right. Hmm. All right. Uh, all right. All right. So, what's up, everybody? We're going to go over the news. After we get the news out of the way, we're going to jump into the charts, and we're going to create a game plan going into tomorrow's session. Okay. So, we have a big block of news. Majority of the news is going to be at 7:30 and 9 o'clock, and the rest of it is just going to be at your normal hours, 10, 11, 10:30, 11, and 12. So let's go over it. So we do have a Fed speaker speaking at 5:30 in the morning, which is strange. I don't know why a Fed speaker will be speaking at 5:30 in the morning unless this meeting is taking place overseas, where it would make sense. Because who's really up at 5:30 in the morning to listen to, I guess, a Fed speaker speak about the economy? I don't think nobody cares around that time. But at 5:30, there is a Fed speaker. We do have a lot of job or employment data being released tomorrow. We have the challengers job cuts for the month of June. And let's actually read what that is. So this is released by the Challenger Gray and Christmas Monthly, provides information on the numbers of announced corporate layoffs by industry and region. So uh, this is the corporate job cuts. Like when you hear Facebook stating that they're going to cut 5,000 employees by June or by next quarter, I guess that gets put on this employment chain. So that's definitely going to be a market mover at 7:15. We have the normal Thursday stuff on Wednesday, obviously, because the market is going to be closed on Thursday. So we're getting all of Thursday data being released tomorrow. So we have initial jobless claims, and we have the S&P. We have initial jobless claims, and at I'm sorry, at 8:45, we have the S&P Global Services in Composite, and we all know that the Fed is looking at the services, so, or the ISM services. I apologize. Um, at 9 o'clock, we do have a big block of news coming out at that 9 o'clock hour. We have factory orders. We have another Fed speaker speaking at 9. We have the ISM Employment Index, New Order Index, Services, PMI, and prices paid. And this is exactly what the Fed is keeping their eyes on, is the services. At 9:30, we have some crude news. At 10:30, we have the 4-week bill auction. At 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock, we have some energy news, both. And, huh. And we also have the FOMC meetings. I'm sorry, the FOMC minutes at 1 o'clock. So tomorrow is definitely going to be one of those days. Today is definitely, or tomorrow's going to definitely be one of those days. Um, there's definitely going to be a lot of things to look out for going into tomorrow. So with that said, let's jump into the charts and let's create a game plan going into tomorrow. Okay. So yesterday we did mark out some areas to look out for. this area right here, we got a 50-point drop in this area, and not too far from it, the bears did come back in, and we did get another drop, trading right back into this support area, and we got this massive move higher. We also looked at this area right here for price to drop down. I believe price got to about, if I'm not mistaken, we did see a small drop from 230, which was quickly bought right back up by the bulls. And once price got to 240, that's when we saw a small pullback testing that 50 EMA. We got this move, this short squeeze going higher, and it does appear that the price is hanging around in this area. We may get a repeat of last night's price action. We may get price to pull back into this area where the bulls can come in here and possibly get a retest of all-time highs. I will say that it's highly unlikely for the market to continue to trend up without at least a pullback. However, this massive move up was definitely, I wouldn't say that it wasn't expected, but if you started the session in pre-market with this short, I know a lot of people, and this is mostly the reason, this is highly likely the reason why we got this massive short squeeze higher, is because once we got a break of this structure, once we got a break of this area where the bears came in initially and they sold price down, the bears that didn't take their profit, they saw their position come back against them, and it tapped into their break even, and you can see that price swept into this liquidity that was hanging above this area. So you got to think about the psychology of the bears at this point. You can see that in this level, they tried once, twice, 3, 4, 5, and a 6th time to try to short price back down for a retest of this low, and they were not successful. So if you visualize it like this, you got 6 layers of stops right here in this area. When price finally tapped into this area, that's all their stops, all these buy stops, filling the market with buy orders, pushing this market up higher. Now, we did catch this pump, or at least to 130 or 1 to 120-ish. We did catch this pump on stream this morning. But after this, I stopped trading because we won for the day. And honestly, with all this bullish momentum, it would have been a gamble to short this bullish momentum. And there was something very interesting on the ES chart. I spoke briefly about the CVD and actually paying attention to it because last Friday's session, the CVD was actually negative as the market was going up. And I didn't pay any attention to it until the speaker on the Think with Bookmap YouTube channel spoke about it, and he was correct. The CVD was negative the entire time. And once the bulls got into that area and retested that area, that almost reclaiming all-time highs, the market completely dropped. And something interesting happened with the CVD today. The CVD was reading at 41K. 41K on the ES to the bullish side, positive. That is a lot of buying. A lot of buying. It's almost as if there is absolutely no sellers in this market. That's how high it was. 41K is a lot. So seeing all this buying, I did not get back into the market after that. I wish I caught the rest of this move up, but I really didn't want to deal with it after the stream ended because of yesterday's price action. But now that we tapped into these areas of resistance, we did get a sell off here. We got kind of a sell off in this area, but the bulls still took control. We did get price to trade above it. And now price is in an area where if the bears really want to take this lower, they're going to have to break this structure right here. They're going to have to break. They're going to have to break this. They're going to have to trade past this range. They're going to have to get a retest. And this is where we can see price can break down from here. If the bulls want to take this, it's going to be the same thing. They're going to have to use this area of support. They're going to have to trade into this area, use this area as support, protect this low, and trade up higher, trying to reach that all-time high. I believe it's 2371, if I'm not mistaken. Let's actually look at that. Actually, let's look on the higher time frame. Yep. Or, yeah, it's 371, if I'm not mistaken. 371 and 2 ticks. So if the market wants to take out this high, it's going to have to use this area that is resistance currently as support to push higher. Now, the market has yet to take out this 270 level. Price did stop at 260, at least for right now, technically making a lower high, technically. But if we get any bullish action that we got later in the session, then I believe that the bulls can take out this high. However, this was the Powell pump. We all know that whenever Powell speaks, he pumps the market after he's done. And in this case, it's no different. We got the Powell pump into the end of the session, but usually after we get the Powell pump, we usually get the dump afterwards. And I'm wondering if price is going to fail in this area. We see a pullback possibly in this range right here. Back to this somewhere around 2080, 2045, somewhere in this area. And the bulls try to take it back up higher, because we do see that there was a break of structure here from this leg. And I'm going to make the assumption that if price trades into this area, the market participants, the players, are going to want to at least try for a decent risk reward trade that looks something like this for a trade back into this range. So if we do get a drop, I do expect for the bulls to try to come back in this area if price trades here. So I'm going to be looking for that tomorrow. On Thursday, we do have 4th of July. The markets will be trading on the holiday schedule. And usually on those types of days, the market does tend to grind up higher. The main reason why we see the grinds, the low volume grinds, is because it's low volume. There's really nobody buying the market. It's everybody shorting the market. And as price continues to grind higher, what's happening is their stops. As the bears try to short the market, their stops is being used as fuel to push the market higher, because the bears doesn't have the backing of these institutions to short this market, so the market just grinds up higher. But what I usually often see as a response to that, once everybody comes back from vacation, holidays, whatever, we see a massive correction down. And from there, that's when regular price action starts to resume. So I don't think that this time will be any different, but if it is, we'll definitely be prepared for that. So overall, trading the Nasdaq, I mean, it was a bit tricky at first, but we definitely ended the day profitable on the Nasdaq. So in terms of trades going into tomorrow and paying in areas to pay attention to, since we got this massive move up, I don't want to use terms. It's highly unlikely that we get buyers to buy all the way up here in the nosebleeds. But we've seen this song and dance played so many times that it wouldn't be a surprise to me if the bulls do continue to push price up higher after we got this massive move higher. So I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. I'll be wanting to buy a pullback, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised if we get a breakout going higher overnight. We do have a lot of news going into that 7:30, going into 7:30 tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure that's going to have some influence on the market before we get the New York session. So we're just going to have to see. So I think that's about it with the Nasdaq. We hit those levels. We are starting to see the bears come in. The bulls are definitely going to have to take out this high here at 2073. If we get a failure if we have a failure from the bulls to have price acceptance above this high, then we can definitely see it move down. We would need a breakout higher. We need price acceptance. We need to see the bulls and the bears fight it out as they come back into an area of support. And from here, this is where the deciding factor is going to be. Either the bulls are going to use this area and they're going to push price higher, or they're going to fail, and all the stops that's underneath this support area will be used as fuel to push this market down. So once price gets into that area, that's going to be the determining factor of what happens. So we'll see. And with that said, let's jump into an ES chart real quick. All right, so this is an ES chart. So this level right here, obviously it got straight ran through. We did see initial resistance in this area. And you can see as when price got to the 62 area, we had a drop. I think that's about 5 points? 61, so about like 6 points, 61. Oh, so no, this is a 10-point. No, it wasn't. It's about a 5-point drop. Anyway, the bears did try to come in at these levels. You can see that they did try to come in. However, the bears were not successful here. And because they were not successful, you can see that we got a stop run higher into the 69 level. And from here, that's when we got this drop. We got the small little pop pre-market. We do see, at least for right now, the bulls are failing to take out this high. And it does look like price is going to at least retest this area at 46 ultimately. We can see the bulls come back in here, but I just kind of doubt that there's going to be buyers sitting at this level. I mean, with all the bullishness, I wouldn't be surprised, but I believe, especially on the ES, that the bulls are going to want at least 46, 45, at least, so they can get a great risk reward trade to at least retest this structure right here. So we're definitely going to have to see about that one. Definitely going to have to see. But right now, it does look like the bulls are failing to push price higher, and now the bears are in control on both the ES and the Nasdaq. and we may get that grind overnight like we did last night. We'll see. We'll see. Also, I did talk about this. I mean, if we do see price trading to the downside, we do have non-farm payroll on Friday. If the market doesn't want to take out its all-time highs here at this level, the market does have an objective on both the ES and especially on the NQ. Especially on the NQ. I'm surprised that the NQ didn't already fill this gap before moving higher. But we both have, both markets has an objective. They both have gaps to fill in the same area. So we could see the market try to trade down and fill this gap. I mean, that would be a big drop down. So I believe the bottom of this is around 610. Currently, we're trading at $233, 20,233. That will be like what, more of like a 400 to 500 point drop to fill this gap. That'll be like a 600 to 700 point drop because it needs to get to 610. Yeah, that would be a massive drop. But we all know that the Nasdaq is capable of doing that in a single session and recovering at least half of that in a single session. She's done that before. She's definitely done that, so it wouldn't be unheard of for her. Yeah, once we got to break out of this level, once we got to break out of this. I mean, in hindsight, once we broke that 16K level, the short squeeze higher. Of course, we got a short squeeze higher. I mean, there was running stops. It was running stops. So the market does have an objective to complete if it doesn't want to take out its all-time highs. So we'll be looking for that going into tomorrow. Depending on which side the market trades in, that's where I'm going to be focusing and planning the trades on. But unfortunately, right now, we're going to have to wait until the price action. Yeah, and this area got missed yesterday as well. So something that the ES is doing, the ES is making lower lows, and it's making lower lows, lower highs, and yet the bulls are able to still break structure, which this kind of price action does defy chart gravity. But with all this bullishness, I guess it doesn't make sense. If this was the first time, the first time we see this type of price action, I know a lot of people would have got trapped here at this wick. And honestly, with all these wicks like this just tells me that a lot of bears did get trapped at these lows because we got to break it at 510 level. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people went heavy once we got a break of this structure just for it to get bought right back up. And you can see that the bears tried multiple times where they broken this level at 510 and they try to push it lower, and yet it kept getting bought up by the bulls. And when they finally broke this low, they only got 2 points, and their stops got used as fuel to push the market up higher. So the bears are definitely feeling the bears are definitely feeling the pain. It just seems like they're not able to really get anything going into the market unless the bulls are taking profits and they're stepping away. Because in Friday's move down, we had no price action at all. It was basically the market slowly grinding down. And then we had that massive move at the end of the day we had a continuation going into Monday's session, and you can just see that, yeah, the bears are just not, they're just not able to break structure anymore and continue down and get regular price action. I really don't understand why the bulls are very as strong as they are right now, but that's the kind of market that we're trading right now. So we have to be very mindful we take short positions. We do see the 21 EMA here at the 50-40 level. You can see that that was yesterday's high. So if price does trade into this level, I do expect for the bears to come in at that 45 to 41, or I'm sorry, the bulls to come in somewhere and try to defend this area, use it as support for an attempt to make a retest of higher structure. So I do expect for the bears to maybe take profit here, for the bulls to try to buy here, and we may see a bounce somewhere in this area. We may see it. Or I guess a better way of saying that this will be a great area for everybody to become buyers here at this level. So we'll see if that's what we get. And just looking at the hourly chart, obviously that's going to be bullish. So for the last hour of the session, we've had 2 hours of bears selling this market down. So that kind of tells me that this may be the start of the bears trying to sell price down into that level in the Nasdaq. And on the ES, the hourly chart is basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing. So we'll see if price is going to trade into this level overnight and if the bulls are going to be able to defend it. We'll just look at the CL real quick. And we'll look at gold real quick, and we'll just end the stream there. So it does appear that CL is also selling off. Kind of had a feeling it was going to touch this level. Yeah, so we did get a touch of this level at 84.75. From this area, we are starting to see the bulls failing to take price higher and the bears trying to rotate price lower. Prices under both the 21 and the 50 EMA. I want to say that they're going to try to come back down to 81.54, back down into this range. And possibly this is where you can find more buyers here in this area. But this is probably going to take all day for this to happen. And if the bulls fail to hold up this area, we may see a massive drop from this range. We all know that the Biden administration is trying to keep gas prices as low as possible. So I'm pretty sure that as we get closer, we're in the summer months now, I'm pretty sure that the Biden administration wants gas prices to be lower, as we're, especially for the 4th of July weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if CL trades higher, but since we're getting close to the election, I will keep a close eye on if we start to see a lot of red days in CL. Obviously, we're still going to trade the charts, but I'm just going to assume that they're going to want this gas prices to be, or this, not gas prices, but CL to be as cheap as possible. They don't want gas to be $80, $84 a barrel. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to trade it lower so it can be cheap for the summer. It can be cheap during the elections, and gas prices won't be a talking point for the opposition. So we'll see. We'll see if that plays out. And for gold, yeah, this thing basically traded in a range. So yeah, this basically traded in a range. We do have a quadruple bottom here. You can see that they are holding out the bottom of this range. So I do expect for price to continue to go up higher tomorrow. the bulls have already proven that they want to hold up this area. However, if the bears are successful in tapping into this level, we do have 4 layers of stops that the bears can use to push this market lower. So, and on the plus side, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 layers of buy stops that's resting above this area right here that the bulls can use to push price higher. And based on this structure, it's highly likely for the market to continue up higher, for it to break down and go lower. And this is possibly looking like a bull flag anyway on gold. This is looking like a bull flag. Usually when we see a bullish trend and it begins to range, this is usually a sign that the market is just taking a breather, and we can see a move going in the same direction. You usually don't see, and if I can find an example, you usually don't see the market go in one direction Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah, you usually don't see the market have a bullish trend. It begins to range, and then it finishes the move out, and then we get a drop. And you can see this pattern happening all the time. And I wouldn't a bull flag and a move to finish it out. You can see a bear flag a bear flag move finishing out. And this is another example of a bull flag. And let me just draw it out. Bull flag. So I'm going to make the assumption that this is what we'll see going into tomorrow. Something like this, possibly retesting that range at 2360, possibly. I mean, it has all week to get there, but I do expect for a bullish price action on gold moving forward. So we'll see. But okay, so that's all I have for tonight. I appreciate all that joined, and we'll do this again at 7 or at 8:30 tomorrow morning. And with that said, peace out.